you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, soldiers help in alleged sedition investigation. More trouble looms in Sodelpa camp as members threaten to resign. And municipal councils instructed to keep ratepayers informed of developments. – 140 soldiers from the Republic of the Fiji military forces have been deployed to the Western Division to assist police with their sedition-related investigations. Lands Force Commander Colonel Sithiven Ngilio says the military decided to join the police based on the Constitution and their role to uphold the safety and security of all Fijians. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
Alleged acts of sedition, inciting political violence and inciting communal antagonism have been making the news over the past 3 weeks, with a total of 63 people arrested in Ra and Nandranga. Land Force Commander Colonel Sithiven Ngilio says the scale of these investigations and the possibility of firearms has prompted their involvement.
The military has decided to deploy 140 soldiers to the west to be prepared to assist the police in case there are firearms involved. We've been following the group for a couple of months now with the police, working closely with the police, and we've been gathering information on them. So our concern now is if there are arms involved with the military type training that has been conducted.
Colonel Ngilio says he can neither confirm nor deny at this stage that firearms have been found.
The police are continuing the investigations, and it will be improper for me to divulge any information because the investigations are ongoing. The Commissioner of Police will make the necessary releases in due time.
The Lands Force Commander says the RFMF will assist the police as and when needed.
The constitutional role is clearly stipulated that the safety and security, the security and well-being of Fiji and all Fijians is the responsibility of the RFMF as in the Constitution. So we are going out there to assist the police in that regard, in giving us an environment of security for all Fijians.
Meanwhile, police spokesperson Anna Naisoro says Chief of Investigations and Intelligence ACP Henry Brown would not make any media comments in relation to the matter, only to say that police are leading the investigations. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
A 22-year-old woman of Nawaka Nandi died in an early morning accident at the Mbale-Nakula Bridge in Sambeto. The vehicle she was traveling in was hit by another vehicle driven by a 26-year-old man. It is alleged the vehicle driven by the 26-year-old veered off to the opposite lane on the bridge as his vision was impaired by oncoming headlights. However, this is all subject to investigation. The victim was traveling with a couple and their 5-year-old daughter and another woman. She died as a result of injuries sustained in the accident. The other passengers remain admitted under observation at the Nandi hospital, while the 26-year-old driver is being questioned by police. The road death toll currently stands at 38 compared to 33 for the same period last year. Sodelpa MP Moses Mbulitavo is threatening to resign from the party if the issues stated in an audit report of the opposition office are not addressed. Speaking to FBC News from Mombasa, Mbulitavo is demanding an investigation to be conducted into the findings and those implicated in the report resign. Eleanor Turangaivu has the details.
The report on the audit of the opposition office has created some tension amongst Sodelpa MPs. Outspoken MP Moses Mbulitavo is not hiding his disappointment.
When we see what was in the report, that could lead into the deregistration of the party, and also could affect the ability of the party, especially the loss of trust.
Of particular concern to Mboletabo is an allegation in the said report of a bank statement that mentioned the government grant to be given to each member of parliament for constituency allowance. This, he says, was not given to them.
It was supposed to be given to the party, and from the party to the members of parliament, and members of parliament to do the constituency visits and constituency work. But those funds were somehow diverted to the opposition office to pay the opposition office operation budget, like the salaries of the opposition staff.
Since the report was leaked last week, Mboletabo has lodged an official complaint with the SODELPA Management Board for an investigation into the findings, as well as opposition leader Rote Mumukepa. Mboletabo is frustrated that to date the board has not set to address the complaint. Mboletabo has called for the resignation of the opposition leader and those implicated in the alleged abuse of the grant, as stated in the report. Party President Ratunenga Malalambalabo, who is away in Australia, is expected to return to solve the issue.
And we trust him as the paramount chief of Vanuatu and Account Robert, that all his subjects who have been involved in the current push to investigate the party, we have taken heed of his advice, and we await for his return to make the best decision which he has promised us.
Under the party constitution, the management board is to investigate any member who is accused of misconduct. FBC News understands Mboletabo and 3 other SODELPA MPs have lodged complaints against the party leader Rote Mumukepa. Attempts to get comments from Rote Mumu have been futile. Eleanor Turangayu, FBC News.
Fiji Airways has set a new profit record for the first 6 months of this year, reporting an operating profit before tax of $17.5 million. Chanel Sivan reports this was the company's highest 6-month result in its history.
This year's return is a solid improvement on its profit of $15.4 million for the same period last year. The profit represents the earnings of Fiji Airways Group, which comprises Fiji Airways, its subsidiaries Fiji Airlines Limited, trading as Fiji Link, and Pacific Qualcomm Limited, plus a 38.75% stake in Richmond Limited, owners of the Sofitel Fiji Resort and Spa on Denarau Island. Fiji Airways Chairman Nalin Patel commended the staff for what he described as yet another outstanding performance for the first half of 2015. The result was warmly welcomed by the Attorney General and Minister for Aviation, Ayased Kayum, who said it's laid a solid foundation for the airline's future growth, including new routes and new aircraft. The Fiji Airways acting CEO David Borden said the growth of its Hong Kong service to China clearly shows the diversity and resilience within the group to deliver strong results despite economic and market pressure within our core Australian market. Borden appealed to the staff to remain focused. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Minister for Local Government, Parveen Kumar, is urging municipal councils to communicate with the public at the local level. At the opening of the Local Government Consultative Forum in Nandi, Kumar said ratepayers should know what is happening at the council level. Shireen Lata reports.
Officials from all the municipal councils have gathered in Nandi for the half-yearly meeting. This is the first forum of its kind which is aimed at working together and discussing challenges and issues facing the municipalities.
We must remember that local government is the spirit closer to the people, and therefore the heat will always be felt most at this level.
Local Government Minister Parveen Kumar reminded special administrators and chief executives to mobilize and empower communities so that they can participate and contribute to matters related to the municipalities and their development.
We still have the challenge of fully assessing our strength in the areas of service delivery. And I believe this workshop provides an excellent opportunity to enhance and ponder on our capabilities.
There were presentations on activities undertaken by municipal councils. Issues such as roads, traffic lights and footpaths were some of the topics of discussion. The forum will end on Friday. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
In the news ahead, government commits to more human resource development in public and private sectors.
Oya wawati soni dalai.
Gonga yang masih dong.
Nama kikirau mena tolu kena bitu. Ena via kabi moliti kena porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 FM.
Vendors at the Vodafone Hibiscus Festival in Suva are unhappy with the deal the organisers of the event are making with them following their petition earlier this week. The vendors say that the 15% and 10% refund the committee is promising them is not enough. Madhyum Bolaitamana with the details.
As the organising committee tries to iron out problems, vendors are still unhappy.
2 days, not even a single dollar. Asking, just struggle from Saturday till now.
The vendors are up in arms with the refund deal the committee is making with them.
They have all agreed to for the 15% and the 10%. 15% for us, I think 40 is up, and 10% for the people down below. But we feel we are not happy with their decision because we lost so much up until now.
While the committee has opted to comment on the situation with the vendors later, the works carried out at the park is aimed at attracting more people to the venue in the remaining few days.
While we sympathize with those that are coming in, having to go through the mud, be rest assured that we're doing our level best to ensure that the ground holds itself for the visiting public.
While blue skies are bringing some glimmer of hope, the organising committee still has many issues to resolve so that everyone goes home happy. Madhyum Bolaitamana, FBC News.
The government will continue to invest heavily in human resource development in both public and private sectors. This will ensure that Fiji has a qualified, skillful and competent workforce. Ali Kimbia has more.
As Fiji embarks in fostering and strengthening international and national relations, induction courses like this one is vital for diplomats to have a good understanding of countries' foreign policies.
New skills required through the induction course. This will help you to enhance and sharpen your work and understanding foreign representatives you will be engaging with.
45 participants are taking part in the 7 days workshop, and they are expected to learn certain rules of engagement and important negotiating skills.
This program, it is one of the flagship training programs in government, and it is obviously grown in stature from what it started off as a few years ago.
Participants have expressed an eagerness to promote the country and support the development of Fiji's foreign policy.
And we can also do this by learning the best diplomatic etiquette, so that together we can be amongst the best negotiators.
More than 239 officials have been trained since the inception of the diplomatic induction course in 2011. The training has been extended to participants from the civil service and the private sector. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The new home for the president of the Methodist Church of Fiji will also accommodate the visiting pastors from overseas. This was revealed by the current president of the church, Reverend Tevita Nawandra, who was at the Festival of Praise and Gift, or Solevu, at Furnival Park in Suva today.
Funds that will be collected this week will go towards the new church property in the Wilebu, which is $500,000.
We usually have many church visitors with whom we deal line with in terms of our mission and all those. But we just usually put them into hotels, and so it will be better to give them a homely space at the residence.
The current house for the president of the Methodist Church in Suva does not have enough space.
We have got a residence right now, at Pender Street, but that resident, the space, there is no space for visitors, church visitors.
The members of the flock came in numbers today, despite the unfavorable adverse condition.
Yes, the weather condition, of course, is a challenge, but people still come. So we don't want to discourage them with the weather, but they voluntarily come.
The Festival of Praise for the Methodist Church Conference continues tomorrow at Fernivale Park, Turek. Toka Sarenima, FBC News.
The Suva foreshore was a hive of activity today as traditional seafarers congregated to showcase their sailing skills in the annual Vetawanga competitions. The day started with young sailing enthusiasts taking to the water to compete in the miniature canoe races. Later it was the big boys who put to the test years of traditional sailing skills as the perfect conditions kicked in. For the organizers of the one-day meet, using the platform like the Hibiscus to harness the message of climate change and reviving this age-old traditional mode of transportation could not have come at a better time.
The cost of fuel has gone up so much, it makes these boats still very viable to take fish from the reef and not to have to take more fish to pay for the fuel. And the climate change effect, using no fossil fuel is great.
And on that note, it's Sports Up Now with Jamie.
Nakateki, and good evening. Coming up, the latest from the Flying Fijians camp, and we take a look at young ruggers battling it out in competitions around the country. These stories and more after the break.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपकी हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची, इट्स हॉट।
The Vodafone Flying Fijians are set for an exciting 2 more days before the final 31-member team for the Rugby World Cup is named. Though nothing has been set in stone, one player who is certain to be named and to skipper the side is back rower Akapusingera. Indra Singh has more.
The Flying Fijians having their final 48 hours of training before the team to the World Cup is announced, and the skipper says it's now down to the business end of the selection process.
We're counting down days to the warm-up game against Canada and to the first game against England, and everyone is just excited.
Set to play in his 3rd World Cup campaign, he is a sure inclusion in the side and says it will be an honour for him to lead the national team to the biggest rugby event.
It's been great and it's an honour to lead this team to another Rugby World Cup.
It is not only the team which is dear to Ngera, but family support as well. After all, his brother Chico Matawalu has also played for Fiji.
Yeah, it's a major achievement for the family, and looking back to be in the 3rd World Cup. But I treat this World Cup as my first World Cup, and to be leading this team into this World Cup, it's a major challenge for me.
The mentor says it's now all systems go as he and the coaching staff get ready to tick off the names in the final 31.
Yes, it adds a little bit of edge. You know, the boys know that it's getting close to the time, and they'll have that dream of representing their country at Rugby World Cup, and it just put an extra edge into the training.
It will also be a nervous wait for most of the players ahead of the naming on Friday night.
Oh, look, I think this afternoon we'll be having the coaching staff. We're having quite a detailed meeting to look closely at the players' performance over the previous few days' training and just nail down those last few positions.
So with 2 more days to go before the 31-member team is named for the World Cup, the Vodafone Flying Fijians will have some sleepless nights as coach John McKee and his brigade tick off the names that will represent us in London on the first game on September 19th. It'll be exciting times on Friday night, but for the moment the boys know it is about giving their best and donning that white jumper at the Rugby World Cup. Interesting, FBC Sports.
Another player also hoping to make the cut is Metuisela Talembula. The strong running number 15 says he is ready should he be selected in the final team. Interesting again with this report.
Kicking his way to impress the national coach, Metuisela Talembula is ready to don the white jumper for his first ever World Cup.
It's going to be hard for us for the selection of the team, and we focus for going for the World Cup.
The former Fiji Sevens rep is known for his dangerous runs from the backline and says it is a tough battle to make the final 31.
It's been good, and I'm very happy that I came back to play with big brothers. They have a lot of improvement by them by putting everything well, and except game against England, we get ready.
His battle for the number 15 jumper is with Kini Murimurivalu, but there is only friendly rivalry in the team environment to stake a final claim.
It's going to be like a brotherhood if we're going to help each other. If we're selected, we're going to do our best to be in the team.
Fiji has been handed a tough task at the World Cup and being pulled in the pool of death. Talembula remains confident of their chances.
It's possible because we're going to work together like teamwork, and we're going to put everything in our heart to play on the World Cup.
It will be known on Friday if Talembula makes the cut, but what he has shown so far should see his name being ticked by coach John McKee. Interesting, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, winger Napoleon Nalanga is highly likely to miss selection for the Rugby World Cup. The robust back who was injured during the Pacific Nations Cup is not expected to recover in time for final team selection.
I think I will wait for the full medical diagnosis, but I think that at this stage that would keep him out of contention for the 31, but it doesn't discount him being a standby player to come in later on if we have an injury.
Meanwhile, you can watch the naming of the Rugby World Cup team live on Fbctv from 6:30 p.m. on Friday. Boer Rugby wants to make an impact as it debuts at the Crest Western Primary School's Rugby Festival in Nandi. The district will have teams featuring from the under 11 to 14 grades at the 2-day competition. Josephine Navula has more.
All the way from Vanuatu, these youngsters are keen on doing Boer proud and battling the Western schools to earn a top spot in the competition. Coach Ropate Rombanakandabu says the performance by the players have been overwhelming despite the short span of time they had to prepare.
3 of our teams have reached the semi-final stage, and that has shown the preparation that we have had. We have been staging trials for the past few weeks and were in camp for 1 week before we depart the island on Sunday to be here for this competition.
Rombanakandabu adds a lot of sacrifices have been made to get the team across to the tournament.
We faced difficulties with our financials, so we had fundraising. Our parents played a huge role in getting us here.
The Northerners alongside Nandi, Nadronga, Lautoka and Ba will be competing for the various grades titles that will be determined later tonight. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Several exclusive Fijian resorts have been listed in the Forbes lifestyle list. They include Wakaya Club and Spa, Laudala Resort previously owned by Malcolm Forbes. The write-up also mentions the new luxury Vatovara Resort in the Northern Lao Group owned by Oakley founder James Janard, the Royal Ndavoi Island Resort and the Nanuku Resort in Pacific Harbour. Forbes magazines and websites are well known for their lists of the richest Americans and rankings from the world's top companies to the best and ultimate luxury lifestyle. Showers were experienced over the eastern and interior parts of the larger islands. Mainly fine weather prevailed elsewhere. A trough of low pressure extends southeast from the Solomon Islands to Vanuatu. Another trough lies over Tuvalu with a frontal system affecting Niue and southern Cooks to the south. Meanwhile, an east to southeast wind flow prevails over the southwest Pacific region. Maximum temperatures peaked beyond 30 degrees today. Lambasa hit 31 degrees, while Ban Latoka recorded 32. Forecast to midnight tomorrow for the Fiji group. Some showers over the eastern and interior parts of the main islands. Elsewhere, possible afternoon or evening showers. Outlook for Friday, some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine, cool at night. And the main points again, 140 soldiers are helping police investigate allegations that rebel groups used firearms as part of their training. SEDELPA MP Moses Mbulitavo is threatening to resign from the party if the issues stated in an audit report of the opposition office are not addressed. And Fiji Airways has set a new profit record for the first 6 months of this year, reporting an operating profit before tax of $17.5 million. To our poll question for this week, we're asking, do you think the Hibiscus Festival is up to the standards of the previous years? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Good night.